Yeah, my wife was like, you better get all your F's out now. So I was like, she thought it was funny. What is good, MFs? And by that, I mean my friends, because I'm going to try to get right with YouTube again. I'm going to take another crack at it. We made up over the weekend. I said some things. YouTube said some things. I did some things. YouTube did some things. We're ready to let bygones be bygones. And you know what? I'm just ready to take another crack at this whole not being a wild asshole thing. I hope that one doesn't get me in trouble. Do you guys think that one's going to get me in trouble? I hope not. You never know. Anyway, I love you. My name is Jay. I am the Bishop of Bull Moose. And I'm here to yap at you tonight, guys. Also, take a quick sip of this beer. Oh, it has been a weekend. I mean, I'm recording this on a Sunday night, and it's been a weekend. I'm sorry if I look a little sunburned, but I was moving my dad all weekend. I was moving my dad for 4 days from Atlanta all the way up to Maine, and I feel like I've been chewed up and spit out, but I have definitely earned this, and figured to record a video while I'm at it. You guys already probably know this because many of you guys are probably also recipients of the halfway to Black Friday Vinegar Syndrome orders yourselves. And recently, many people have been receiving their orders. I am one of those people. While I was driving between Atlanta and Louisville, Kentucky, as I was driving this giant friggin' rig of a U-Haul, I received a friendly email from Vinegar Syndrome telling me that that my order had been shipped and that I would shortly be receiving the email. I thought, great. By the time I have returned home to Maine from my sojourn across the United States, then I'll have a nice little box waiting for me. And what do you know? I've got a nice little box waiting for me. So I thought, why not just completely flush all of my principles? I have never been one to produce unboxing videos or haul videos. It's not really something that I've done until very recently. I think I did a haul video with my man's Chase from AV Pop Culture on his channel. Go check that out if you haven't seen it already. Probably you have, but we bought some movies and I bought a couple of records and we went back to his house and recorded a video where we were showing these items off. So I kind of feel like Chase, thank you, popped my cherry for unboxing and or at least small haul videos. There's got to be a terrible preface for this video, but I've always felt like I don't really like showing off things that I've got. I mean, it's the reason why I don't have my movies in the background here. My movies, I've actually got like a whole wall right over there, but they're off screen, they're off camera. So instead of like having just thousands of movies, 4Ks and whatnot behind me, I've got a couple actually. I've got a few box sets there that are resting behind me, and I got my Kung Fu Hamster, and I got Sam from Trick or Treat back there. So, I've got a few things. You can tell that I like movies. I yap about movies enough that I never really felt like I had to show all of my stuff. I don't know. It always just felt a little bit weird to me to be like, "Hey, look what I bought." You know what I mean? And at any rate, this might be my last order for a little while, actually. And so I figured, why not look at the box of Vinegar Syndrome shit that I bought about a month ago. This wasn't that bad. I feel like they trained everybody with Black Friday last year that it's like, it's going to be 2 months before your shit ships. So anytime it takes less than 8 weeks to get your stuff from Vinegar Syndrome feels like a win. So let's take a look, man. Why not? Or lady, I don't know. I got a nice big box from Vinegar Syndrome. We got the nice Vinegar Syndrome tape. As we all do, we like to collect these things with nice packaging, with rigid slipcases and steel books and stuff. And there's nothing more annoying, albeit maybe pretty minor, that other people might never notice. Like I've got a couple of steel books over there with spine slashes, thanks to the guy at Best Buy just opening the boxes really fast. And someone like my wife would never notice. In 100 years, I notice it immediately and it drives me nuts. And I'm sure you folks do too. But I do feel fairly confident with Vinegar Syndrome because they always wrap everything up so well. And I'm bumping the bar here. Pro tip, you slice the sides first because those very unlikely to have anything under them. There's that cardboard flap. So you can slice the sides first, and then you can pro tip, you can stick your finger. See, I got my finger wedged in there. You stick your finger in there, and that creates this little space here that bumps you up. And then you can kind of gently and carefully slide that knife down there. And you don't really have to worry about coming into contact with any of the contents of that box. So you don't order shit like a $45 fucking copy of Dirty Work just to cut the spine, right? That would be fucking stupid. Listen to that crack open. That's always a nice sound. What I got here is, Vinegar Syndrome. They're doing their work. They've got everything pretty well covered and everything pretty well bubble wrapped. So I like participating in Vinegar Syndrome sales. I may record a video sometime soon where I talk about my techniques, the things that I do to save money on buying movies, so that I can buy more movies with the savings, whatever your budget is. Obviously, if you can get things for less, then you can stretch your budget further. And that's kind of a hobby of mine. Like, as much as collecting the movies is a hobby of mine, I also like getting a really good deal on the movies. I love feeling like I got this $45 movie for 30 bucks. I love it. So I like to wait for the Vinegar Syndrome sales, something like halfway to Black Friday. I live for the shit. So a lot of the movies I'm going to pull out of here are older Vinegar Syndrome releases, stuff that they might have released last year. I'm just now getting around to getting it. So kiss my ass. I'm a cheap son of a bitch. I'm frugal. I got a frugal wife. And this is how we compromise on my flagrant and outrageous purchases of movies. I almost said DVDs. I like it when we just called shit like a tissue was just a Kleenex. Like, I need a Kleenex, dog. Can you pass me that box of Kleenexes? It might just be like the Walmart Great Value brand, but there was no tissue in the lexicon. It was just Kleenex. And then anime is like this too. We used to call it Japanimation, and that was way better. Anyway, these are some old movies. What do you want from me? And they're packaged actually they're like put in here very carefully, but they're also very tight. So I can tell that during shipping, they weren't like wobbling around in here. That's very nice. I appreciate you guys over there. Vinegar Syndrome. All right, first one I got in here is I got Alien Private Eye. I haven't seen this one. It's a total blind buy, but I want to say it was pretty cheap. It was probably, I don't know, 16 bucks. So why the shit not? And I shit on Blu-rays. I don't shit on Blu-rays. People accuse me of shitting on Blu-rays. People accuse Chase of shitting on Blu-rays too, but he and I are of like minds. There's no 4K of this, so I bought the Blu-ray. I'm happy to buy a Blu-ray when that's it. Looking forward to watching this one. It looks kind of batshit loco, and oh, did I show you guys the back of this? I'm gonna have to put something up over that. That's a titty on the back of that. I didn't know there was a titty back there. I should quit holding this up because YouTube is not gonna like that, and that's gonna make my life harder in editing because I'm gonna have to put something over that little booby there. I love it. Look at the boobies. Anyway, Alien Private Eye. I'm going to check that out. I know next to nothing about that movie, but Vinegar Syndrome will get me. Like, they would not have gotten me on Alien Private Eye if it was $32, but when it's like 17 or 16 with the slip, how do you say no to that? I got another one in here. Here we go. Here, the next one in here I got is The Howling 2. I don't know if you guys got The Howling 2 or not. Have y'all checked out The Howling 2? This is one that I looked at Bull Moose. I used to go into Bull Moose and they had the slipped version, $35 or $36 in the Bull Moose, which, for a 4K, for a slipped Vinegar Syndrome 4K, that's not a bad price, but I knew I could get it cheaper if I was patient. I'm looking forward to watching this bitch. I heard old girl is running around topless a lot. That works for me. She's not topless on the cover, so I'm not gonna have to cover anything up there. But I like it. Here's another older one, and another 4K. Mother's Day. Here we go. I love the backside. It's a riff of that old painting. I should have looked that up. So I didn't remember that this was in my box. Otherwise, I would have looked that up to tell you what painting is being riffed right there. It's a riff on that Déjeuner sur l'herbe or some shit like that. I don't know. I practice my French. This is another one that I would see at Bull Moose for like 36 bucks. And I said no. I can get this for 25 if I wait. You know, if you save $10 on every movie you buy over the course of a year, you will save many hundreds of dollars. It adds up. So that's hundreds of dollars that you can spend buying more shit at a sale like this. So it's the type of thing that propagates itself. It's very nice. Here's another older one. Check out Invasion USA, Chuck Norris film. Another great 80s action film. That man is still kicking, both figuratively in that he's still alive. He's 80 something at this point. Look me up and tell me what his age is down below. Somebody, what is he, 82, 83? And then he's also still literally kicking because, you know, he's a karate expert. I'm sure he's lived to be as old as he is because he practices his kicks and splits and shit like that. Invasion USA, I don't believe I have seen this one so far this century. So I'm looking forward to checking that one out. It's another 4K that I saved something like 10 bucks on. More martial arts. I got a VSA Jet Li. My Father is a Hero. This is another one that I have a Chinese bootleg copy of this on DVD. I probably have not watched this movie since maybe the early 2000s. And I'm glad to pick it up in a VSA. Slides upward. Most slipcovers, like Invasion USA, most slipcovers have two holes, right? One at the bottom, one at the top. But VSA is fancy, right? You guys have some VSAs at home. Y'all know about VSA being fancy. It comes out the bottom, and that's it. The top is closed up. The top has a number on it because they're like hand numbered and shit. They're all limited, right? Like the normal Vinegar Syndromes are also limited to like 5,000 copies or whatever. But for some reason, the VSAs, they get a handwritten number on them, despite all of the limited editions being limited and therefore numberable. The VSAs get them. I remember thinking that this was kind of a Stranger Jet Li movie back in the 90s and early 2000s. This was not one of my favorite Jet Li films. Shout will be putting out a lot of my favorite Jet Li films. A lot of my favorite Jet Li films are coming out next month in their box set. Maybe somebody will get me that for my birthday. I'm gonna tell my wife, give me that shit for my birthday. And then leave me alone for the weekend because I'm watching Jet Li shit. Keeping with the martial arts theme, we got China O'Brien. China O'Brien 2. Nobody's naked on the cover, right? I need to look at this. Is that girl naked? I need to get my glasses. I can't see if these girls are naked or not, but we got China O'Brien. If there's only two, you know what I mean? There's a part one and a part two, put them together. I love it when they do that. This is another 4K, and this is one of Vinegar Syndrome's rigid boxes. Rigid boxes. I like these. Again, you can only slip it out. You know, there's only one hole. I like it when it's only got one hole. I don't mind when there's two holes, but one hole is extra fancy. So, China O'Brien, and I'm going to say, not so much maybe in this artwork, but in other places. I'm thinking Righting Wrongs specifically, which is another a film put out with Yin Bao and Cynthia Rothrock in Vinegar Syndrome put that one out too. Cynthia Rothrock is like low key quite attractive in Righting Wrongs. I haven't seen China O'Brien yet. I did purchase it simply on the strength of Righting Wrongs. I bought Righting Wrongs, I don't know, something like a year ago. If you haven't already, you need to get Righting Wrongs because that movie is tighter than dick skin. It's excellent. So we'll check out China O'Brien too. What am I on my tally for blind buys versus movies I've seen? I think all the movies I just pulled out, except for Invasion USA, are blind buys that I'm films I have never before seen. We have another Hong Kong film, An Eye for an Eye. This one has the same girl, that woman's face that you see right there. This has the same woman from My Heart is That Eternal Rose. And My Heart is That Eternal Rose was a film that I was especially interested in. I love the artwork for that one. The backside really makes this one look bonkers. This is another blind buy for me. I know the VSA line was supposed to be a line of films that you would have rented at a video store circa 1988, 1989, 1990. Kind of bring us back to, you know, back in the day, these movies that would have been maybe not stuff that was on the big screen. It wasn't something big like ET, but it was something, you might have bumped into at the video store. But I have to say, it feels like false advertising because I feel like An Eye for an Eye, despite being a film that was released, I believe, in 89 or 90. Let me know if I'm wrong, but I think it was a 1990 film. And despite being a film that was made and available in 1990, I do not believe that any video store circa 1990 or 1991 would have had that film. Reason being, it's not an English language film. Yes, at some point in time, video stores had begun to carry foreign films, foreign language films, anime that was in Japanese and subtitled in English, but I really don't think that the selection of those things was very wide. Let me know if you were around in 1990, 91, and you were renting movies and you rented An Eye for an Eye, because I don't think you did, but if you did, I'm happy to be wrong, although I won't believe you, so I'm not sure. I'll think I'm wrong. Here is They Call Me Macho Woman. They got me on this one. I heard it was batshit loco, and I've got a thing for saving $10 or $15 on a movie that's batshit loco. Is anybody naked on the back? Nope. Nobody's naked on the back. I can show you the back. Looks a little crazy. I'm not sure my wife is gonna love watching this one with me. I might watch this one. I don't know. She goes out of town. I might pop this one on. Let me know if you've seen They Call Me Macho Woman. Another blind buy. Again, I feel like if I'm saving money, I don't feel that bad about the blind buys if I'm saving money. Here's another older one. The packaging alone is quite interesting. This is the Tenant. The Tenant. Very interesting way that this case opens. It almost feels a little bit like gimmicky. Feels a little gimmicky the way this opens. He's a tenant in an apartment complex, and the film has these, I don't know, French doors that sort of open, and there you have it. It's a very unique case situation. It almost feels and looks like the VSU case, except instead of having a magnetic clasp here on one side that opens up, it's got a magnetic clasp here in the middle, and the two doors open up to reveal the film, and it contains the movie, a book, etc. So it has this sort of premium feel of a VSU without being an actual VSU title. This one doesn't really fit the VSU line anyway. The Tenant, a smaller film, although not unheard of because it stars and was directed by Roman Polanski. So I think the historicity alone of this film and the fact that I got it, I don't know, 15%. I must have paid $32 for this. This is like a $45, normally 45 bucks. I think I paid 32 for this. Anyway, I like saving money. Also, the historicity of the film as part of Roman Polanski's oeuvre of movies, I think makes it important enough that I would like to revisit it. I'd like to revisit it in 4K. And so I'm looking forward to that. I don't think I've seen this since film school. I think I watched most of my Roman Polanski films in film school. I think Chinatown I have revisited. Rosemary's Baby I have revisited since film school. Knife on the Water or Knife in the Water. I haven't seen since film school. I have not revisited that. And The Tenant as well. So I'll revisit The Tenant soon, and I'll let you people know. You find people. I'll let my F's know, and my F stands for friends. I got one, and this is a partner label one that I bought during the partner label month. And I was really sold on this by my homeboy Chase at AV Pop Culture. He told me that it was wild, it was cool, it was kind of out there, it was a little psychedelic and trippy, and it's very neon, set in Japan. I was like, all right, you're checking a lot of my boxes here. I dig it. Plus, it was selling very fast. So if you want to crack at the limited edition, I hate to tell you, it's gone. It's been gone. This one sold out in about a day. It was about 24 hours. This one sold out, and that is Enter the Void. Enter the Void. Let me try and get this one's highly glossy. I haven't taken, there's shrink wrap over it, which is unusual, but it's like a holographic thing. I have to say, I'm not disappointed in the packaging because it's got this holographic, it's not embossed. There's no texture to the front here, but it is holographic. It has almost like that holographic foil. I don't know, like a comic book in the 90s. It almost looks like a comic book in the 90s. But I heard this was very trippy. This is another one that who knows if my wife would actually enjoy this or not. Maybe I'll take a crack at her because I gotta say, she does have great taste in films overall. I'm not divorcing her over it for sure. She's a great mother. So we'll see. Maybe she'll like it. If not, I got some mushrooms upstairs. I'm gonna eat this shit when she goes out of town. We're gonna watch Enter the Void. Maybe I'll live stream myself losing my own mind. Sounds like a lot of fun, actually. So Enter the Void, this is actually some very beautiful packaging. And my man's Chase from AV Pop Culture was definitely telling me that it's gonna check a lot of my boxes. So I'm very much looking forward to checking that one out. And there's a few in here too that I missed the limited edition boat on. There's always the one that got away, and for me, and probably for people out there too, it's not just one. There are oftentimes movies that, you're just not quick enough on, or the timing isn't right, finances aren't right, you've bought too much already, and your wife's already mad at you. I get it. It's happened to me. If you're not paying attention, if you sleep on a movie, sometimes they sell out quite quickly. There's a few on my list that are that way, and I'm lucky that Vinegar Syndrome decided to bring back a few limited editions. Some people online were kind of upset about it, but I saw actually Justin LaLiberty. Now he is a high-powered individual who runs the cinematograph line. He curates the cinematograph line, and I think he's also responsible for some other curation duties at Vinegar Syndrome. So he is someone who I think can reliably speak to Vinegar Syndrome's overall business practices and philosophical outlook. But what he was saying was that it's less about putting out a new slipcover to try to get people to double dip. It was less about a lot of people were complaining that Vinegar Syndrome was sort of cheapening the experience by putting out these other slipcovers and then also inviting people to buy a movie again because they couldn't just buy the slipcover by itself. What Justin LaLiberty was saying, and his point does make sense at least, whether or not you believe him is up to you, but his point makes sense is that they're trying to attract new collectors, people who have maybe started collecting in the last year or 2 years, and maybe they missed the slipcover for From Beyond, as I did. So he thought, well, maybe people would be happy to get their hands on a slipcover edition of the beautiful 4K. This is another Vinegar Syndrome 4K, and as you know, Vinegar Syndrome, they do such an excellent job on their 4Ks. Look at that. I like the artwork for this one. I've heard some people complain about the artwork, that it's not representative of the film, but you know what? That still has a very striking composition. You look at that, if you saw that at a video store, you'd think, I need to watch that movie, right? Just on the strength of the artwork alone. It's very bold. It's very striking. I do like it. And there's some tasteful spot gloss. I feel like Patrick Bateman from fucking American Psycho every time I'm like admiring the spot gloss. Look at the weight of the card. You know what I mean?
Look at that subtle off-white coloring. The tasteful thickness of it. Oh my God. It even has a watermark.
Anyway, From Beyond and the Amityville Horror, I picked those up. I had not previously had an opportunity to purchase the slipcovers for these because they got away. I think they went on sale really before I came back to 4K very hard. Collecting physical media came back pretty hard in the last couple of years. And I think these were gone, but just look at how reflective that thing is. Look how glossy that is. It's the reverse of spot gloss. So this is like spot gloss on pretty much the whole thing except for the axe and the windows here. Should have charged my wireless microphone. So we get upgraded. We get the nicer mic. My voice probably sounds better. The back is like almost impossible to see on the Vinegar Syndrome website, but when you hold it here in your hands, see how much of that is spot gloss. There's an upside down cross as well that is like the only non-spot glossed part of the case. So it's sort of the opposite of, a normal slipcase will have some spot gloss in places. Let me try that again. A normal Vinegar Syndrome slipcover will often have spot gloss in some places, but this one is sort of the opposite of that. It's got spot gloss all over this thing. It makes it look like I don't know, like it's been lacquered. It looks like lacquered wood. Lacquered wood. All right. Here is a little bit of a side bonus. I had acquired enough points from all of these purchases to pick up a VSMC, a media club. If you're not a member of the media club, you need to join the media club because you're going to get points from buying from their website. So I picked up a slipcover for Undefeatable. This is another 4K that the slipcover has sold out, but the standard edition is widely available. And so all I need is the slipcover, and I got the VSMC version, which is kind of nice. I like these a lot because they have the, see if you see that, the gold foil embossing. This is like a really fancy spot gloss because it's like a gold foil spot gloss. So I picked this up to slide onto very tenderly, very sensually, slide this onto my 4K of Undefeatable. So there we go. I don't own a single Vinegar Syndrome film. Now that I got the Amityville Horror with a slipcover and From Beyond with a slipcover and the slipcover for Undefeatable, I do not own a Vinegar Syndrome film without a slipcover or slipcase. No standard editions in my home, okay? I'm going to raise my children here. I want them to grow up with some self-respect. We're not doing any standard editions, please. No. Hell no. All right, a couple more. I only have a couple more left. I wasn't that obscene with my purchases. And so for these last couple, these were a few that were selling very well. So I did not get a discount on these because these were brand new. These are really, I think, out of this whole pile, these are the only two that are brand new that weren't discounted for halfway to Black Friday. These were just paid full price for these because they were going fast. And if they're going fast, they're not going to make it to a sale. You got to do what you got to do. And I'm going to apologize in advance for this one. That is Dirty Work. That is the beautiful cover of Dirty Work. A lot of people have already said online, people like my good personal friend CHH from Planet CHH, that they don't like the slipcover because it's kind of grotesque. I like to think that the human form is beautiful, in all of its manifestations. That's what I want to teach my children. Our bodies are amazing, and I like to think that we're beautiful too, at least in our own way, right? I want to live in a world where we respect the beauty like the ancient Greeks did, right? But ancient Greeks didn't carve hairy motherfuckers like this out of marble or whatever. You don't see a lot of Hercules looking like this with a big old belly, big old beer belly, and pasty nipples and just covered with hair. But this is Dirty Work, and I gotta say, not the release I was expecting from Vinegar Syndrome, but I'm pleased to purchase it. I'm very happy to get. I mean, who else was going to give us like a 40-page booklet on Dirty Work of all films? I think on 4K recently, we've been seeing, here's the slipcover. That's what the slipcover looks like. He's holding the fish. On 4K, we've been getting so many 90s comedies coming out. We got Tommy Boy recently on a nice steelbook, Black Sheep, Kino Lorber put out. We've got Dirty Work now. I'm holding it in my grubby little hands. If I don't go upstairs right after recording this video and watch this, you guys have permission to kick me in the nuts next time you see me, because I'm just happy that we're getting from Kino Lorber, we're getting Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. And so I'm really happy to see a lot of these 90s comedies, because these were the comedies that I went to see when I was in high school. I mean, these were the movies that I went to see in like 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade, when I'm starting to kind of come out into my own and going to see movies on my own, and going to see movies with my jackass friends, or maybe going on a date. I remember seeing Billy Madison on opening night in the theater. And that was an experience because that theater was packed. Every seat in that theater was packed. And that movie was fucking hilarious. I'm trying not to say F. That movie was friending hilarious. I don't know. That was silly. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway, I'm very glad to see these films coming out on 4K. I wish Billy Madison is my favorite of like the whole 90s cycle of comedy. Dirty Work is not, but I will be happy to revisit this. It's been probably 20 years since I've seen this film. I don't own this film on any format, and so I'm going to be happy to revisit it. I'm looking forward to that. I wish it was Billy Madison getting this, but I'll buy Billy Madison anyway on 4K from Kino. Anyway, last one. All right, just one more, okay? And this is one that I'm this one, maybe if I don't go upstairs to watch Dirty Work, I'll go upstairs to watch Iron Angels 1 through 3. This is another VSA. This is possibly the thickest VSA. The Black Cat VSA is quite thick as well. But this one is 3 films. Unlike Black Cat was 1 and 2. This is 3 films, but it also includes a booklet. That is a somewhat rarity with the VSA line to include a booklet like this. Black Cat, of course, does include a booklet, but I don't believe any of the other VSA that I have, and I have a number of VSA. I'm looking over there like I can see shit at all in my life. I don't see super well like I used to. I see okay enough to drive legally, but I don't believe any of the other VSAs have slipcover. Unfortunately, it's the same as the. I got to see if that's reversible. Do you guys know if that's reversible? I haven't opened it up yet. I don't like it when the carpet matches the drapes. Let's put it that way. I like it when the slipcover or slipcase and the case art have different artwork. So I'm gonna flip that around if that's possible. I'll flip that around. But I've heard that this is just kind of over the top, maybe a little bit batshit, but over the top. Lots of action, Hong Kong style. They were made in the 80s. There's a lot of things about these films that are really sound up my alley. I've never seen these before. Again, I don't believe this set of films was available in the late 80s or early 90s in a video store. So the VSA line feels very much to me like it's just a Hong Kong cinema line. I almost wish Vinegar Syndrome would just do like VSHK or something like that and just have your Hong Kong cinema line, because they do put out a lot of Hong Kong cinema films. I've mentioned Lady Reporter. I mentioned Righting Wrongs. I got China O'Brien. There's a lot of film. Then, some of these like An Eye for an Eye and Iron Angels and My Father is a Hero. That's like 3 VSAs that I bought that were all Hong Kong cinema films. I really feel like they could have done their own VSHK line, and the VSA line could have continued to be an actual archive of like movies that we actually rented on video in 1988 or 1989, because I was renting movies, or I was begging my parents to rent movies on VHS in 1989, and it would oftentimes be schlock like this. So that is it. That is the stack of movies that I ordered from Vinegar Syndrome. That is also my principles flushing down the toilet. That is the drain slowly sucking down with the feces into the septic tank. My principles, where I said, you know what? I'm going to be a good Buddhist, and I'm not going to engage in materialism. I am not going to encourage other people to succumb to FOMO and go on eBay and purchase Enter the Void with the holographic foil shit for $150 because it's no longer available on Vinegar Syndrome website because it's sold out in 24 hours. I'm sorry, guys, if I have disappointed you or let you down. Please let me know about it in the comments below. I will accept constructive criticism as well as continuous praise, although I do prefer the praise. Anyway, guys, I thank you very much for checking out this video. I'll catch you on the next one. I'll come back and I'll shave my head, and I'll be a good Buddhist on the next one. I promise, guys. MFs, my friends. Peace. I'm out.